pieces here and there where it can filter through, but this is Gambit's bread and butter, right? This is what we've now known them for, this capability to close back in.
And particularly with the 9-3, you look towards the first buy round, then that first ultimate cycle, right? Which you look towards kind of round 4, 5 potentially. If things go if everything goes Gambit's way, that's when you start getting concerned, because those are the snowballing rounds.
Well, this is the first challenge, I'd say. If you get the bonus, you're laughing. But Gambit are going to stick on what they had. Defo does at least have the rifle. But, I mean, Chronicle's got to go. Spectre's a weak purchase up against the Guardians and the rifles coming out from Acend. So let's see what the damage looks like for Gambit here. And that is a belter of a start for Defo. Takes a head off of Killers, but a quick culling right back. That's the rifle now lost from Gambit, as Acend's mid-presence still going to maintain dominance here.
Again, a good indication as well, it being Keyless. They know this is going to be the weaker side of the setup, but very quickly Acend found a little bit of space. Bone Cold, can he avoid that? I don't actually think he gets spotted there.
I don't think so. Oh, you're playing dangerous games now. Shados is the one closest to the corner, but CNET's going to just check him, body check him down. Acend now striding towards the sights. That's going to be pretty much all the danger removed from the site and not much to really come from it. Nats and Chronicle. This wasn't an invested round, though. If you look at what was coming through that Defo, I mean, yes, he had the rifle. No one else had anything, really.
No. Again, he just wants to make most of it. If anything, playing much deeper than you'd maybe expect in the bonus, but no real contingency behind that. Nobody covering the possibility that Acend had so many bodies bottom mid. Towards top mid, actually. Zeke will find another. It's one of his ultimate here, so whether or not they try and feed that kill over to Zeke. There will be, actually, yeah. We'll find his third. Acend put their 10th on the board. Gambit now. Again, things almost level out in terms of the round timeline here. That's big for Acend to kind of stop this momentum. Gambit now have to make the most of this buy round.
Yeah, this is when we talk about highlight rounds, key rounds. This is one of them. And obviously Acend know that as well. They're very aware. Now, Gambit didn't go all that in on that last round. I wasn't eyeing it up too much. They seem to be happy to go in against the 10 rounds that will sit in the pocket of Acend with the mere 5 of their own. But this is where it gets down to the nitty-gritty. We look at the op coming out for Defo. We look at the purchase. It's very robust. They're happy enough. Anything special? It looks pretty much like a kind of tube and your traditional A piece, which does lean towards Defo as being the front man. He's going to find Zeke for free. Looks for a follow-up. There's no one there quite yet. You can see the vision. Just, oh, that got way too close. And Defo's feeling himself here. Pretty brave to be standing like this. What? Starzo walks in, makes the side his own, and Acend just bursts through. 5 now alive. Zeke back on his feet. And it's Nats and Chronicle, who don't have much territory in this at all. And already look at that push-up. Killer is taking so much room towards that deep CT side.
Again, they've got to consider holding on to this.
That's a save in my mind.
Defo loses the op. There's no Blade Storm available. The next round for Gambit looks awful. Absolutely awful. Acend going to keep 5 alive. I mean, actually, other than Zeke, there's not even shields that need repurchasing here. That is, by the book, the best possible scenario here. Keyless does give one away, but again, I think that's now given Acend everything they need to know. They're saving, guys. Don't even risk anything, because
you're fine.
It's a bigger loss for Acend to give something away here.
Maybe try, as I said, I don't mind Killers giving it a try, and that's it. You draw the line in the sand there for the economy going forward. I am impressed with Acend at this point, I've got to say. Keep in mind, Defo had the first pick, was able to fall away, didn't have an instantaneous trade. But Acend, their spacing looked good, that pressure looked good. I'm seeing that semifinals form coming right on back through here in the grand finals.
Again, you talk about actually the other factors in here. Yes, they have the lockdown, but okay, Starzo.
Okay.
Just a pixel out of place. And again, the other thing is with Defo, there's no chance for him to dash away. With Zeke obviously popping that null command, there's the sort of round where the death ball around that KO wall is so devastating, especially if somebody, particularly a Jet with an operator, decides to kind of greet that. And it's almost like he's baited in by finding that first one. It's not, they actually stick the res in the open. That's crazy.
And it's forced a timeout out of Gambit here. maybe to collect themselves, because we talked about pivotal rounds. That was one of them, and it was not a great look from Gambit. They got swept aside there. Honestly, if anything, an incredible look for Acend. They've got to be walking away loving every moment of that, because they've been haunted on this map. They lost their last chance on this map. They got held at a strong lead and couldn't convert it. They got dragged back down, and a team like Gambit can absolutely do that to you. We aren't seeing it here. This is Acend powering forward. And look, they look like a different team. They've grown. I think that's clear to see to anyone who was watching the previous events with Acend. They used to be up and out of their chairs for literally everything. They've chilled it out a bit here.
And again, you talk about one of the big positives for Gambit, it's the composure, right? Me and Sean were having this conversation earlier. Coming away from that series yesterday is so exhausting. And again, with a team like Gambit, again, they start slow. Often they start slow and kind of warm up towards the end of series or towards the end of a map. But coming out of that, it's concerning to see it like this, though. Because Acend, if they have the opportunity to, I guess, just coast through the way that it felt that they did versus Liquid and play their own game, and I mean, everything is going their way right now. Every duel, every rotation pool, it's clinical. Again, actually a much wider spread here on this setup from Acend, but they've already drawn this rotation again. Like I said, Nat's going to be the only one to try and defend a site here. We'll find Keyless, but actually we'll find Zeke as well. He's going to stop this one before it gets started.
And hey, if Defo can't do it, put Nats on the site and say, all right, bud, we need you to lock this down, otherwise we're done for. Spike left on his side, and the bullet just gives him a haircut. These three looking vicious. Cena does find Nats, but not without him finding another body to add to the tally. 2v4 isn't going to be easy. A lot of potential trades favorable as well. Cena still going to isolate Defo. And Bone Cold the last one alive, but it's a 1v2. This is far more feasible than it was before. Spike well within grasp, but Chronicle way too aware. Gambit close in again.
And actually, weird enough, that becomes a more pivotal round, right? Nat's one of the ones that hold on to that rifle from the previous, and he makes it absolutely worthwhile for Gambit here. Again, you can see right here on the minimap, Chronicle and Redguard both hitting this rotation. It's a real diligence shown on the side of Nats, and also a couple of kills to boot. Gambit will stabilize here. Again, 5,100 behind this purchase for Acend as well. But again, this is the sort of round again. It's a buy round.
Look at the ults coming through. Gambit aren't far away either.
Well,
you're about to have that cycle hit.
Ult-wise, you want them also to build up the economy buffer here as well. So this first ultimate, I guess full ultimate cycle here for Gambit, absolutely crucial.
And that was essential before, and he might be again. Redguard and I think Chronicle sitting a little bit deeper. He's going to be forced to relent slightly from that opening peak that he liked to have before. The one player notices they made their way through. So they know the op's already out towards the site here. Redguard going to keep trying to filter that information through. And Acend playing around just the precipice of the site. They haven't quite fully committed yet. And look at these rotations. If they're able to explore the rest of the map, they could find maybe an option, but there were 4 players posted towards this A site.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say a key engagement becomes Keyless and Redguard or Defo here, and actually is able to find an angle through. Nats will be detected on site as well.
Yeah, they've got to hit this site right about now. Chronicle trying to spam away, try and get some chip damage, but Nats is now surrounded. He's got players right, left, center. Ult comes in, and the plant going to be going down as well. Nats actually decides to get aggressive. Oh no! Nats unchecked is always deadly. Chronicle's got his side as well. And now we go into the last player standing. CNED, what do you got for us? Anything left in the tank? Absolutely not. It's Nats waiting. His patience pays. Gets the op and gets another round.
And that's a scary one. Again, with
he pushed into that.
Yeah. At that point, traditionally, you'd expect Gambit to go, right, give it up, guys. Let's play strength in numbers. We'll come through. But right there, they get ahead of the curve, ahead of the spike, even comfortably being planted here. I mean, look. One Cold still, I mean, there's 3/4 progress there on the plant. Absolutely insane stuff from Nats. Again, 2 rounds in a row now.
Get out of my way.
They've humbled the money. Acend kept on 11 for now. Gambit should be able to convert this if all goes to plan, which, hey, there's some pressure coming in through those double doors. And Nats, again, how many times will he be tested? And how many times is he going to succeed? He stands his ground and he delivers. Nats, again, is refusing to move. He doesn't know when he's dead. And the last player alive is Bone Cold, and they just can't get rid of him. Gambit, 4 stand, and the gap gets smaller.
And we talk about it, this is when you start getting concerned for Acend. When Gambit can build a little momentum, and that's it. They pump the brakes.
Yep, they have to, because if I'm a coach and I'm watching my team get held on 11, I'm getting nervous because I know what happened last time. I've sat here and I've had to watch my team get stuck at this point. You have to address it now, because these site hits are finding nothing. Nats is just running you around, he's making you look silly. They have to find the answer.
I'm not sure what it is, again, with Gambit almost being there to read both of these. Again, that Viper's Pit kind of being invested now implies maybe there's going to be a little variation to the setup. They might move Nats across to another site. Potentially Chronicle going to have a different setup here on the defense, but again, do Acend come back to exploring B now? Do they see a little bit window of opportunity almost with mid? Because they came through double doors there, but again, the one player you don't want on the other side of a Cypher cage and you're flashing out of it is Nats, right?
Yeah, it's just the stuff of nightmares.
No
when
access to site, right?
None. There's only one site on this map, and it's not where he is. So maybe find another way around. For now, though, this is when all that work and hopefully all that adjustment kicks in.
Well, this is, and again, you look back at the rounds that Acend have won. Have they learnt enough about the setup? And actually, just come back to it here, we see exactly that. Nats and Chronicle now invested towards B site. Now, whether or not Acend are going to poke a little bit on A, maybe not see Nats on the other side of it, and then think that there is an opportunity.
Yeah, but Defo can then overextend a little if he wants to, see if he wants to get a little Aggie on that peak.
Operator, Blade Storm, he's a big swing factor in this round.
And he's got Sky with him, right?
They might even try and flash into shot Bill.
I think that's exactly what we're seeing, which again, removes a couple of options. Angles his. The shot was so close, but he's going to fall away. Defo going to just fall back a little.
But straight away, look.
And this now just falls onto Nats' his lap. He sat there, and this was the whole intention. They are running, they are forcing and herding Acend this way. Now, he's not alone here, though. He does have a teammate with him as well. He will have support on this. It will be Chronicle, the dastardly duo.
This is crazy. Again, just that little bit of aggression forces Acend to consider going elsewhere. They've noted the operator. Redgar's already looking to preempt this rotation. And they're walking into a really awkward setup here on the defense from Gambit.
And now they're like, oh no, surely not again. Surely this isn't what's happening. Look at the utility smothering them down. Nats is buying time after time. Can they finally take him down? No, they can't. Nats, the immovable object.
No way.
Unbelievable work from Nats. And Acend can't escape him. He's the final boss that they cannot get past. And Gambit have brought the scoreline so close now.
That setup is beautiful. The snake bites, the nano swarm. There's nowhere for Cena to dash onto site. There's nothing for him to do. They stall for 3 seconds or so, and at that point, then Gambit like we have the wall. Look at this here. There's literally nowhere for Acend to push into, Lauren.
And this was all tailor-made for him to be there.
It was bespoke for this.
I love this. This is good Valorant, man. This is what it's about. These mind games between the two. The Prime came in flawless. Really just to signify the scenario that Acend are now in. Sheriffs, Frenzies, Light Armor. Can they get anything? Can they find that weakness, that avenue back, that way to remove a player? That ain't gonna be it.
That's the one you don't want to remove at the start of the round. Unless you're Gambit.
Yeah, Gambit fans now.
And Defo looks like he might even follow up on this. We'll hear the orb be retrieved, and look at that. It's the spike noted as well, so lots of information given. He's going to try and find something on the other side of the map. We'll have to see if he does find success. Bone Cold and Starzo still staring down the barrel of Defo. Nats does actually deal with that lurk, so again, good indication here. Straight away he hits this rotation. And they're almost committed here, trying to find something.
Flawless. I really like this. It's flawless again from Gambit, who are just striding through. And this is when we talk about their resilience, their capability not just once or twice, so often to bring these scorelines back.
I'm pretty sure Nats was 12-9. He's now 24-9, which is just the most terrifying prospect ever. And again, like you said, this is literally Gambit setting up Acend. They're baiting them into some of these rounds. And they keep biting. They keep biting.
They don't know what to do to get around it. Timeout comes in from Acend. They need this map. In my mind, it's not just it being a best of 5, additional maps coming into play. It's the mental game.
Map 1 is so huge in a best of 5. It absolutely 100%. Is.
And we already know this about Gambit, and I do want this to be taken really on board, that they are so capable of these comebacks time and time again. Their unwavering faith in the in-game leadership, the coaching, the plan, whatever it is, it's just the resolve is flawless. And Acend have sat there on 11. And they have not gotten...
For a while.
Yes, they have not gotten close. And if there's just any other map as well, any other scenario, I wouldn't be as worried because it's a best of 5. But my mind does go back to that 100 Thieves game that we were mentioning earlier, where they got stuck on a scoreline very similar to this and could not get over the finish.
No, they really couldn't. In terms of closing out, it's huge versus a team like Gambit. Because, like I said, if they find momentum, it's so difficult to overcome. Because you come back to the things we discussed. Actually, Acend were doing well on the defense. The variation, everything that Gambit are able to do on the defense, it's almost like you get to round 6 or 7 and you're back on your second or third buy round and you think, okay, well, do we naturally know what the setups are? What are the indicators that we can kind of adapt to? And Acend have none of that right now. Again, they played deep enough once again to basically negate Zeke's early round utility. And they'll lean back towards what feels like looking for a pick, but set up here from Gambit, they're not going to give one away.
Let's say they continue to explore through elbow, up middle. It's going to be Nats again, isn't it? Maybe a quick lean comes in from someone like Defo, or, I don't know, Redgar comes across, who knows. But at this point, once again, they look towards B.
Interesting thing here will be if they can make use of this utility ahead of null command. There you go. Actually, it's popped straight away and immediately see the Nano Swarm to try and buy a little bit of time. And Chronicle will find it.
But he pushes into this. The confidence is just uncontestable. And Nats is the backline, and he is not going to fall away. Nats has just destroyed them. You can't run and you can't hide. Nats is right there every single time.
I can't believe they've just done it again. That's a 5-man hit that Chronicle and Nats are able to completely shut down with the null command. And like I said, there's a window of opportunity where you have to make use of this utility ahead of the execute, right? Particularly, we talk about, this just comes down to gunfights, right?
And look at the synergy between these two players.
Chronicle bails out and Nats is like, cool, I'll pick up the slack.
Got you, buddy.
Yep.
I'm right there. And you can see it between them. In perfect synergy in the switch up. And again, Nats is on the A side. He's everywhere they want to be. This is literally like a nightmare. They don't know how to get away from him. A quick underhand flash, but look at this Bulldogs. Light armor. They don't even have the full kit and caboodle. They're working with less. An aggressive posture as well from Defo. He's taking space elsewhere.
And again, if they note this, if Defo finds a kill, it's going to force them back towards the site they don't want to hit.
And I love how they're using this, though. Defo on one side, taking a bit of space. We saw it with the flashes
before.
So
much map control here.
And now, let's see if he can keep this sort of presence, though, because it's tricky. He could get punished. And actually gets away with his life, luckily and surprisingly. 35 HP, can filter away, doesn't get punished for it. Shados there just to try and facilitate that escape plan if he needs it. And, well, they've decided maybe B's the site to go to, as that's where the op is, I guess.
Again, Wall not invested yet from Starzo. He's got his Viper's Pit, so it looks like they are leaning towards a B hit once again. Again, they're very cautious. They're trying to figure out where Defo's repositioned to. Kilos might even try and bait a little contact here in double doors.
Yeah, but they've got an early rotation as well. Chronicle's coming over, and I quite like that. Defo's got himself hopping out the ult. Nat still finds one. No matter what they do, Acend can't do anything. They are left without an answer. And it is just a clean sweep from Gambit. 5 alive. Bone Cold presented the impossible. Tries to make it happen. And Gambit take the lead from Acend.
without breaking a sweat. Honestly, some of these rounds are just they're played so well, and like you said, the synergy in the buddy system that Gambit's able to invest around Chronicle and Nats so often. Again, Chronicle, he's so sharp, and he has been the last few days. Again, you think back to that ace on Bind, and wow, I'm speechless. Acend once again now staring down the barrel. I got to say, fumbling a big lead on Breeze.
Yes, absolutely. And half of me, you know, you do have to look a little bit towards what Acend are doing wrong, but it's so hard to take it away from what Gambit are doing so right. Nats and Chronicle, to me, this duo is just undeniable brilliance in every aspect of it. Defo, again, has the Seekers to set him up. You can have the ult coming in. Nothing seems possible for Acend.
Well, Viper's Pit, A-site. Nats is going to hold on to that here, whether or not see Gambit readjust. Look how deep Defo is once again.
Now that's a good pick though. Zeke finding Chronicle is actually pretty important. Maybe this is a chance. I say that with this man still lingering around. And Defo's still exploring deeper and deeper, finding new ways. And if they keep leaning back this way, it's a very real possibility he catches one of these players. It looks like he's going to spot Keyless pretty soon. And he does. He finds Keyless, and oh, he just caught a glimpse of a second. 100% confirmation that they were eyeing up this side of the map. He can fall away and buy a lot of time. They don't have to over-rotate.
Well, again, the fact that it's Keyless on, like, knowing how Keyless plays, you see here, Shados actually doubles down. So it looks like Acend still want to try and navigate their way past this Viper's Pit onto A.
Good luck. Because we know who's there. Redgar this time holds across. CNED finds one. Redgar sprays in. He gets one connection, but it's still going to be Nats, who finally gets denied by Starzo. There's a chance! And he gets ripped away, Redgar! It's 10 seconds! It's over! 13 to 11! The nightmare resurfaces for Acend and Gambit. What a turnaround! From that halftime score, they looked flat. It looked all perfect for Acend. And then, once again, the Iron Giants made their appearance.
I got to say, again, even personally, I think there's been lots of people saying we haven't seen the Nats from Masters 3. We haven't seen the Nats from earlier on in the year.
Sure.
Starting off the grand finals, Nats and Chronicle, again, this guy's been putting up MVP-worthy performances. That right there, the duo for Gambit, single-handedly in some of those rounds, it was on the back of those two players, Lauren.
Look, I love seeing that Chronicle and Nats combo. Between the two of them was beautiful. Zeke had a great performance. CNED was not quiet either. This was a good-looking Acend on the first half.
It really was, and again, you think back, in terms of control, in terms of, you know, having their finger on the pulse, Acend felt as if they'd adapted perfectly to Gambit, right? The side switch comes in. What do we do? We're back in a scenario where we're talking about Gambit looking 10 times better on the defense than they do on the attack, which again, you think, well, that's fine, right? It doesn't even matter what happens in the first, because once they stabilize, once they get a lock on the economy, this variation on defense for Gambit is just so difficult for Acend, because the early rounds are so one-sided. They learn nothing from some of these losses.
In front of us, and if this is anything to go by, it's gonna be one of the best we've ever seen between these two. Gambit bringing out all the stops, nothing left to hide, nothing left to, you know, shy away from. And as you said, Chronicle, Nats, headliners in this. Let's head to a break so the devs can jump in and talk you through everything we just saw.
Bye.